to go from that to this, that's like 20 to 30 pounds of actual muscle accrued, which is just not going to happen naturally, in my opinion. What's up guys, Derek, moreplates.com. Today we are talking about the freshly shaven, nearly unrecognizable Boeing 747 latissimus dorsi spread barn door back and a half of a fucking human, Conor, the notorious McGregor, bro. He is a transformed human, seemingly unrecognizable. Like, what the fuck am I even looking at? This is like, he literally looks like Dorian Yates reincarnate, bro, from like years ago. Obviously not, you know, to the magnitude of muscularity, but like the face has a bit of a resemblance to me. Like that was the first thing I thought of personally when I saw it, but you hardly recognize him. You'd be like, who the fuck is this when you see this big chin, goddamn, what's that guy? Crimson Chin. This guy is looking much different in the past few months, especially with the fresh shave and some of these new photos he's dropping of his absurd physique. Like this is, again, it's not like he's ever been not jacked by normal person standards, but he has taken on, you know, he's gonna come in at 170 next time he fights supposedly, and this is representative of that, apparently. Now, he has made multiple posts about it, like this is the sauciest I've ever seen him look in my life, personally. And he posted a shot of him at, you know, when he was weighing in at 145, 155, and then 170 question mark. And since deleted the post. Why exactly? I don't know. But obviously he didn't delete the post of him showing off the physique. Here he is, father-son work. And he is like these quads, especially to me. Like again, this photo is almost suspiciously photoshopped seemingly. Like that's how cranked this guy looks right now relative to what I believe he's naturally capable of. So either he is almost certainly taking something right now, while again, he's not being tested by USADA, so there is absolutely the most incentive ever for him when he is, you know, creeping into his mid-30s, has to make a dramatic comeback. This is his last shot to do it, essentially coming off of a brutal injury where you would probably be taking certain things in order to expedite your recovery and make sure you come back with enhanced infrastructure to support avoiding injury in the future, proofing yourself, so to speak, and just getting yourself battle ready again when you know you aren't subject to testing. And again, he only has to be tested for 6 months up to his fight if he wants to enter the pool again. And that is not even guaranteed. There is a statement by USADA. Once UFC athletes are enrolled in the testing program, they are subject to testing even when they are not competing, unless they notify the UFC of their retirement, their contract is terminated, or they are otherwise removed from the program. So Conor isn't in the program, presumably, because he hasn't been tested in over a year and a half, essentially, at this point. It's about a year. I forget exactly the amount of months, but it's like, I don't know, 15 months or something. If an athlete returns to the UFC, he or she must remain in the USADA testing pool for 6 months before being allowed to compete. Similar to the WADA rules, the UFC may grant an exemption to the 6-month written notice rule in exceptional circumstances or where strict application of this rule would be manifestly unfair to the athlete. But in both cases, according to UFC rules, under the UFC rules, the athlete must provide at least 2 negative samples before returning to competition. We do not comment on the status of any particular athlete's test panel. So not making any specific comments about Conor, but has to, at minimum, you know, be tested for 6 months, at least 2 test samples during those 6 months. But there are exceptions to the rule and potentially doesn't even have to be tested at all. Like, who knows? They are very tight-lipped about what they do nowadays. You know, back in the day, you could actually see like literal blood test results and urinary metabolite testing and whatnot. And here you have nothing. Just like, this is what our general stance is on testing. If somebody pulls out of the pool, goes back into the pool, but no commentary on Conor McGregor's situation, how much he's being tested, why is he not subject to scrutinous testing, what's gonna happen if he enters the pool again, how intensely is he gonna be tested, what is he gonna be tested for, are there, you know, extreme circumstances in which he'd be exempt and he can just show up sauce to the gills? Like, what is going on here with this guy? Because he is, you know, everyone is wondering, like, why hasn't this guy been drug tested? And then, you know, people talk about his injury, you know, getting out of the pool, et cetera, but he has impending plans to come back to the UFC and make a statement. And this does not look representative of just, I took time off and I'm focusing on, you know, building my physique back to, you know, be fight ready. Like, he has never looked, in my opinion, resembled this in this dramatic of a fashion. So, like, this is almost to the point where I would think the picture is fake. Like, you know, that's how juicy this guy looks. So, again, even in the past, though, it's not like there was certainty around if he's used hormones or anything, but like, when you're not even passing the eye test, like the fucking smell test where you just look at a guy and it's like, damn, the dramatic before and after difference when you're a well-trained individual who's been in the gym for fucking years. Now, again, maybe not trying to gain copious amounts of weight, but again, like the lean mass he has packed on in this picture, the quad sweep, like this guy might as well become a fucking IFBB pro, dude. Like, not really, but I mean, like, this is impressive, especially with his like fucked up leg too. Like, to look like this, these are impressive quads to the point that they're suspect as hell and like potentially even photoshopped. I don't know for sure, but it's like one of two things, either sauce or Photoshop, in my opinion. I don't know. It's tough though. I can't imagine this being a snapshot that was legitimate under those two circumstances, not one of them being applicable. So the comments here, House AF by yours truly. Flame emoji, good engagement. Who the Fook is that guy? Someone call USADA. Dude built like that Iron Man prototype suit Tony Stark built in the cave. Bro is fucking jacked, looking like a war machine, ready to send people to Valhalla. Who the fuck is this guy? USADA licking their lips, LOL. Are they though? Shed up, you fool fake. What? Dana says a lot of things. I don't mean it like UFC own USADA like a company. Okay, anyway, them steroids look good on you, my man. Stay juiced. 1,000,000% on the juice. So he looks sick, by the way. Like, this is awesome physique transformation, but I don't even see it reflected in his other shots during his training. Like, is this around that time? Shit hot everywhere. The real goat. There's not a place I'm not great. Like, presumably these are recent, or else he wouldn't be posting them. He wouldn't be posting super old training footage, I imagine. And he does not resemble what he is showing in the video. So that's where I kind of lean towards the Photoshop potentially. Like, this is a really wild before and after. Like, this was some difference this guy posted. This is like, you know, a more realistic shot, in my opinion. Now, how recent is this or how old is this? I don't actually know. But to go from that to this, that's like fucking 20 to 30 pounds of actual muscle accrued, which is just not going to happen naturally, in my opinion. So again, you know, for him, stoked to see his return. I do hope he returns to the cage, but wild to see the metamorphosis and some of these photos come out. I don't think they're representative of his actual physique though, let's be honest. Even if he's on gear, I don't think it's representative of his actual physique. Like, these are newbie, like hyper responder type steroid gains if he was to actually be looking like this right now. So anyways, he clearly is digging the fresh shave. He's rocking it in multiple photos here. He has taken on I don't know, trying to reinvent himself in some capacity. He's now the yoked, you know, fresh shaved, fucking Dorian-esque looking douchey sick fighter who's coming back to fuck you all up. So it's going to be interesting to see his comeback. Into the Twitter threads, he is talking about how he's, you know, gaining shit tons of weight. The goal is to get like yoked as hell. What happened to your neck? It got huge. He's been talking about how he's been bulking up, you know, sideways through the doors, bro. I'm that wide. But again, it's not representative of what he actually looks like, in my opinion. Like, this is a video of him, presumably. The countdown to 2023 begins. It's tough to say what are most recent shots, but I mean, yeah. I would love to see this guy step in the ring just looking like more jacked than fucking Sean Shirk from pre-USADA days. Like, this guy is ready to fucking go in this shot. And I'd love to see him that yoked at 170. That would be actually crazy if he did. I just don't think he does. But, you know, there is a very, very odd thing definitely going on with what he is able to do right now, in my opinion, given his immediate plans to return. And perhaps it falls into legitimate rules, but it seems odd, to say the least. And I think there's a lot of scrutiny around what he may or may not be doing right now. Here's a more realistic shot, in my opinion. And yeah, he still looks fucking great by all means, by the way, but it's definitely an odd shot for sure. So let me know what you guys think. Are you excited for his return? Do you think he's saucing it up? Do you think that he could even be subject to 6 months of testing and pass if he actually looked like this? Be interesting to see how he fares coming back in his mid-30s. I suspect that he might be over the hump, to be honest. I think that his sharpness, his quickness, is just his kind of like springiness, his, I don't know, just snappiness. I don't know how to really represent what I'm trying to say, but just his ability to just pick guys apart seems to be a little bit, lackluster in the past few fights. And unless they just, hand him somebody who, I think he could run through a few guys who, that sounded kind of stupid. I think he could beat the shit out of a few guys who have, decently high standing in the rankings. But I think once he gets put against a real champion again, if that happens, he'd probably get steamrolled, unfortunately. But I want to see him fight, and I want to see him do well, to be honest. It would be, he's a highly entertaining guy, and it's been a minute. So hopefully that is not the case, and he actually is able to hold his own and go on a little bit of a winning streak and get some hype rolling again. Because it's getting kind of annoying seeing some of his tweets, to be honest. I think a lot of people are just as sick of it as I am, saying how he's the shit. He's like the best, blah, 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 even though, I don't even know how you can come to Twitter and speak like that when you have been on this losing streak. Now, again, if you're a sick, double champ from before, okay, maybe you have some level of long-standing shit-talking credibility, I guess, and you're one of the premier shit-talkers in the league, by all means, you got to do what you got to do to build hype. But some of the tweets are just seen as almost absurd at this point when he's calling out current champs and saying how he'd fuck them up so easily and they're no match for him, etc., when we've seen what the outcome of his last few fights have been. So anyways, hopefully he's able to hold his own and produce some entertaining bouts again. So let me know what you guys think. All the comments help the algorithm, and much appreciated. Like, subscribe, check out my blog, moreplacemordates.com. Follow me on Instagram, at moreplacemordates, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, TikTok, Apple Podcasts. If you want to support the channel, you can check out anything I'm associated with in the video description below. Preventative medicine and hormone replacement therapy platform, Gorilla Mind, nootropic formulas, pre-workout formulas, anything else I'm associated with, it's all down there. Thank you guys for watching. Talk to you soon.